Did you know that over 30% of home buyers in Hampton Roads end up regretting their purchase within the first 2 years? Now, that shocking statistic isn't just a number. It represents real families facing real heartache, financial strain, and countless sleepless nights. Now, I've seen it happen too many times. A family just falls in love with a charming waterfront home in Portsmouth, only to discover that there's $90,000 in foundation repairs 6 months later. Or a military couple purchases their dream home in Virginia Beach without realizing that they're directly in a flood zone that their insurance did not cover. A first-time homebuyer in Chesapeake gets excited about a bargain price, not recognizing the telltale signs of extensive water damage that's hidden behind the paint. So today I'm pulling back the curtain on the 7 types of Hampton Roads properties that you should absolutely avoid, no matter how tempting they might seem. If you're considering buying in Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Suffolk, Portsmouth, Newport News, or Hampton, this video could potentially save you hundreds of thousands of dollars and, most importantly, years of stress. Now, this is no way, shape, or form meant to scare you away from home ownership in our lovely region. Hampton Roads remains one of the most affordable coastal areas on the East Coast, with incredible opportunities for buyers at all price points. But navigating our unique market requires local knowledge that many buyers, especially those relocating from out of state or making a military move, they just don't have it yet. So whether you're a first-time buyer, if you're an investor looking for rental properties, or if you're a military family PCSing to one of our bases, these next 20 minutes might be the most valuable investment that you can make in your home buying journey. The number 7 type of house that you should never buy in Hampton Roads without doing the work is a home that's in a high-risk flood zone without proper elevation. So let's start with the most critical issue in our coastal region, flooding. Hampton Roads sits at a unique geographic location where the Chesapeake Bay meets the Atlantic Ocean, creating a beautiful but vulnerable landscape. Now, what many buyers don't realize is that Hampton Roads is experiencing sea level rise at one of the fastest rates on the East Coast, which is about twice the global average. Now, friends, listen, this is not about politics or climate debates. It is simply the reality of our local real estate market that we face every single day. Now, there are specific neighborhoods throughout all of the 7 cities where flooding has become increasingly problematic. In Norfolk, Larchmont, Colonial Place, and Ghent areas have seen significant tidal flooding. Now, in Virginia Beach, neighborhoods like Windsor Woods, Princess Anne Plaza, and parts of Sandbridge experience repeated flood events throughout the years. Now, in Hampton, Buckrow Beach area, and parts of Fox Hill face similar challenges. But here's what makes this especially tricky, friends. Not all flood-prone properties are officially designated in a FEMA flood zone. Now, I've worked with numerous clients who were told a property was not in a flood zone, only to discover from the neighbors that the street regularly floods during heavy rains or nor'easters. One of my military clients relocated from Arizona and fell in love with a charming cottage near Willoughby Spit in Norfolk. The property wasn't technically in a high-risk flood zone, but I connected them with neighbors who showed photos of 3 separate occasions when water had reached the front steps during the storms. We walked away, and 6 months later, that same house had 2 feet of water inside after a particularly strong thunderstorm. So when considering any property in Hampton Roads, here are a few things that you need to do. First, we're going to need to check the FEMA flood zone maps, but we're not going to rely solely on them. We're going to also talk to neighbors about the real world flooding history. We're going to look at the elevation certificate and base flood elevation. So we really want to consider the cost of flood insurance. Now, honestly, it's very affordable in Hampton Roads, but I have seen some policies that got up there if they were in a high risk area. But here's the thing, if you are determined to buy a home in a flood-prone area, let's look specifically for homes that have been properly elevated, have flood vents in the foundation, and ideally have had flood mitigation measures installed. Now, let me ask you this. Does flooding concern you as a potential Hampton Roads home buyer? If so, drop a comment below with your thoughts or questions about specific neighborhoods you're considering, and let's see what I can do to help. Now, if you're unsure about a property's flood risk, all you have to do is reach out to me. I can provide detailed flood history information for any address in our area. Just text me at 757-837-0096 with the property address, and I'll do a complete flood risk assessment for you at no charge. It's a win-win. So, have you been thinking about relocating to Hampton Roads, Virginia? I've got just the thing for you. My team and I have actually taken the time to create the ultimate relocation guide, which is meant to save you hours of research, and I've linked it down below. From top employers, the best hospitals, and a boatload of other things that you need to know before making the move to Hampton Roads. And the best part, guys, it is 100% free. That's right, you heard me, it's 100% free. So just click on the link in the description or the top pinned comment. I hope it helps. God bless you. Okay, friends, the number 6 type of house that you should never buy in Hampton Roads is a home with foundation problems that's caused by our unique soil conditions. Here's the thing, our region's soil composition creates special challenges for home foundations that you won't find in many other parts of the country. Hampton Roads sits on a complex mix of clay, sand, and marshy soils that can expand, contract, and shift dramatically with changing moisture levels. This soil composition, combined with our high water table, creates perfect conditions for foundation problems. These issues are particularly common in older neighborhoods in Norfolk, Portsmouth, and Hampton, where many homes were built before modern foundation techniques were developed. When evaluating a potential home purchase in our area, let's be extremely cautious of these telltale signs of foundation problems. Doors that stick or don't close properly, cracks in drywall, especially the diagonal cracks above the doorways, uneven floors or visible slopes when you roll a marble, stair-step cracks in exterior brick or masonry, gaps between walls and ceilings or floors, and windows that are difficult to open or close. Now, what makes foundation issues particularly dangerous for buyers is that they're often exceptionally expensive to repair. Full foundation replacement in Hampton Roads typically costs between $40K and $100K, money that could have gone toward upgrades or building equity. I'll never forget a time that I worked with a first-time home buyer who was excited about a seemingly well-priced home in a lovely neighborhood in Chesapeake. During our showing, I pointed out some subtle cracks above the doorways and a slight slope to the kitchen floor. We brought in a structural engineer who discovered extensive foundation damage that would have been over $65,000 to repair. Now, had we not investigated further, my client would have had a financial nightmare. In Hampton Roads, be particularly cautious of homes in former wetland areas, properties with improper drainage around the foundation, older homes that haven't had foundation inspections, properties with visible attempts to conceal structural issues. So if you're considering an older home, especially in Norfolk's historic districts or in Portsmouth, investing in a specialized foundation inspection with a structural engineer is absolutely worth the $500 cost. It could potentially save you tens of thousands of dollars in unnecessary repairs. Okay, friends, the number 5 type of house that you should never buy in Hampton Roads is properties with concealed water damage and mold issues. Yes, y'all, I said mold. Our humid coastal climate combined with frequent heavy rain events creates perfect conditions for water intrusion and subsequent mold growth. Ew. In Hampton Roads, water damage and mold aren't just annoyances. They can render a home virtually uninhabitable and create serious health concerns. Many sellers attempt to conceal these issues with fresh paint, new drywall, or strategic furniture placement during a showing. So here's what to watch for in our specific market. Musty odors, especially in basements, crawl spaces, or closets. Fresh paint in isolated areas, particularly on ceilings or lower walls. New drywall patches that don't match the rest of the home. Water stains or discoloration. Look inside cabinets and closets where sellers rarely paint. Excessive humidity or condensation inside the home. Warped flooring or baseboards that show signs of water exposure. Now, a particular concern in Hampton Roads is properties that have experienced water damage during hurricanes or nor'easters but weren't properly remediated. I've worked with a military family relocating to Naval Station Norfolk who almost purchased a home in Ocean View that had been damaged during a previous hurricane. The sellers had quickly cleaned up visible damage but hadn't addressed the extensive mold growth inside the walls. Our specialized inspection revealed the issue, potentially saving this family from serious health problems. Now, the Hampton Roads humidity creates unique challenges, especially in crawl spaces without proper vapor barriers, properties with inadequate gutter systems or improper grading, homes near water bodies that experience high humidity, older properties with window leaks that allow moisture intrusion. So in a market where nearly 70% of our housing stock was built before modern waterproofing standards, every buyer should invest in a specialized moisture and mold inspection. These typically cost $300 to $500, but it can identify problems that standard home inspections often miss. Now, someone who believes that a home should be a sanctuary for your family, I urge you to be particularly vigilant about water damage in our region. The long-term health implications simply aren't worth any discount or deal you might get on the purchase price. Now, let me ask you this. Have you encountered water or mold issues in a Hampton Roads property? If so, share your experience in the comments to help other potential buyers know what to watch out for. Guys, listen, I'm always available to help you identify potential moisture issues during home showings. My years of experience in this market have trained my eye to spot even subtle signs of water damage that most buyers and real estate agents miss. Text me if you'd like me to accompany you on a showing with a special focus on identifying these types of issues. Okay, friends, the number 4 type of house that you should never buy in Hampton Roads is a home with a roof problem unsuited for our hurricane and wind exposure. Now, Hampton Roads sits in a hurricane-prone region with unique wind patterns that place extraordinary stress on residential roofing systems. Our proximity to the Atlantic Ocean and Chesapeake Bay means that many neighborhoods experience wind speeds significantly higher than inland areas during storms. Now, what many buyers don't realize is that roof replacement in the Hampton Roads area typically costs 15 to 20% more than the national average due to our enhanced building code requirements for wind resistance. A full roof replacement here can easily exceed $15,000 depending on the size and complexity of the job. So when evaluating properties in our market, we should be especially wary of roofs that are older than 15 years, particularly architectural shingle roofs, property with visible sagging along the roof line, home with missing or curling shingles, roofing systems with improper flashing around chimneys or vents, properties with visible water stains on the ceilings, homes that don't have hurricane straps or clips connecting the roof to the wall structure, which can be critical for our wind zone. The hurricane season from June through November presents particular challenges for Hampton Roads homeowners. Different areas of Hampton Roads face varying levels of wind exposure. Oceanfront properties in Virginia Beach experience the highest sustained winds. Homes along the Chesapeake Bay in Norfolk, Hampton, and Portsmouth face significant exposure. Even inland properties in Suffolk and Chesapeake can experience damaging wind events during hurricanes. So when buying in our region, I strongly recommend having the roof inspected by a specialized roofing contractor who's familiar with our local building codes, checking for proper installation of hurricane straps and wind mitigation features, reviewing insurance quotes before purchase, as homes without proper wind reinforcement may have significantly higher premiums. And then we can also negotiate seller concessions for roof replacement or repairs if the existing roof is nearing the end of its natural life. Now, as a believer in proper stewardship of resources, I always encourage my clients to view the roof as one of the most important investments in protecting their home. And our client, cutting corners on a roof is simply not an option. Okay, so the number 3 type of house that you should never buy in Hampton Roads is a home with a dangerous electrical system that's common in some historic properties. Now, Hampton Roads boasts some of Virginia's most beautiful historic properties, particularly in neighborhoods like Ghent in Norfolk, Old Town in Portsmouth, and Phoebus in Hampton. Now, while these homes offer incredible character and craftsmanship rarely found in newer construction, they often hide dangerous electrical systems behind their charming facades. Now, our region has a particularly high concentration of homes with outdated electrical components, including knob and tube wiring, which was common in homes built before 1940, aluminum wiring, which was prevalent in homes built between 65 and 75, Federal Pacific electric panels, which known fire hazards installed in many homes from the 50s to the 80s, underground 2-prong outlets, which lack the safety ground found in modern systems, overall inadequate service for modern needs, because many historic homes still have 60 amp service. So what makes these issues particularly concerning in Hampton Roads is our humidity levels. The moisture in our air can accelerate deterioration of electrical components, especially in crawl spaces and attics where much of the wiring is located. I worked with a first-time homebuyer who fell in love with this cute home in Ghent. The home was beautifully maintained with original hardwood floors and charming built-ins. However, our electrician's inspection revealed original knob and tube wiring throughout, with evidence of amateur modifications that created serious fire hazards. The cost to rewire the entire home was thousands of dollars, which was a significant unexpected expense that could have derailed my client's budget. The danger with electrical issues is they're rarely visible during routine showings and can be missed even during standard home inspections. Now, in Hampton Roads, I always recommend having a specialized electrical inspection company for any home built before 1980, checking the electrical panel brand and age, and avoiding Federal Pacific, Zinsco, and Challenger panels if you can, testing for proper grounding throughout the home, verifying that the service capacity is adequate for your needs, at least 150 to 200 amps for modern households, and then looking for GFCI protection in kitchens, bathrooms, and exterior outlets. And this is especially important in our humid environment. Now, as a real estate professional who puts your family's safety first, I cannot stress enough how important proper electrical systems are, particularly in our older housing stock. The charm of a historic home should not come with the hidden danger of an electrical fire, okay? Okay, so the number 2 type of house that you should never buy in Hampton Roads is a home with a hidden termite damage, because we're in a high-risk region. Did you know that Hampton Roads falls within termite infestation probability zone 1? Say that 2 times fast, which is the highest risk category in the United States. Our warm, humid climate creates ideal conditions for termite activity, particularly the aggressive subterranean termite that have established colonies throughout our region in Hampton Roads. Now, what makes termite damage especially concerning for Hampton Roads homebuyers is how quietly devastating it can be. Termites can literally eat away at the structural integrity of a home for years before the damage becomes visible. By that point, repair costs can be thousands of dollars. So when evaluating properties in our market, be particularly vigilant for mud tubes along foundations, crawl spaces, or basement walls, hollow sounding wood when tapped, indicating that termites have eaten the interior while leaving the surface intact, sagging floors or ceilings that may indicate compromised support structures, doors or windows that suddenly become difficult to open, which can indicate frame damage, discarded termite wings near window sills or door frames, especially in the spring, visible wood damage that resembles water damage but in dry areas. I'll never forget helping a military family who relocated to Norfolk and who found what we thought was their perfect home in Larchmont. During the inspection, we discovered extensive termite damage concealed behind recently installed wall paneling in the basement. Further investigation revealed that the previous owners had known about the infestation, but had only treated the active termites without repairing the significant structural damage that the termites caused. Repairing the support beams and damaged wood would have been over $15,000. In Hampton Roads, certain factors significantly increase termite risk. Properties with wood to soil contact around the foundation, homes with improper drainage that creates damp conditions around the structure, houses with untreated wood mulch close to the foundation, properties without active termite bonds and regular inspections, homes with crawl spaces that aren't properly ventilated and sealed. So if you're considering purchasing a home in Hampton Roads, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of getting a specialized termite inspection beyond the standard wood destroying insect report, reviewing the property's termite treatment history and warranty transferability, checking for proper soil treatment around the foundation, looking for evidence of previous termite damage that may have been repaired, verifying that any wood near the foundation is pressure treated. Now, as someone who believes in protecting the sanctity of your home, I encourage all of my clients to take termite prevention and inspection extremely serious because of our region. The peace of mind is well worth a minimal investment to do the checking up front. Hey guys, as much as I love making these videos, there's one thing I love more, and that's helping families and people from all over the United States and the world make the move here to Hampton Roads, Virginia. I've helped countless families make the move here. So whether you're coming out next week, next month, or even next year, don't hesitate to reach out. Our contact information is right here on the screen, and it'll be linked in the description in case you missed the on-screen pop-up. I look forward to helping you and your family make the move to Hampton Roads, Virginia. God bless you. Okay, friends, so here you have it. The number 1 type of home that you should never buy in Hampton Roads is a home with a problematic HOA that limits your rights. Now, while it's not a physical defect like the other items on our list, a problematic homeowners association can make your dream home in Hampton Roads a daily nightmare. Did you know that our region has a particularly high concentration of HOAs, with an estimated 60% of newer homes belonging to some form of community association? What many buyers don't realize until it's too late is that Hampton Roads has some of the most restrictive and financially problematic HOAs in the entire state. The issues range from unreasonable aesthetic restrictions to financially unstable associations with inadequate reserves for maintaining community infrastructure. Before purchasing any property with an HOA in our region, be extraordinarily cautious about association with a history of special assessments, which is common in the oceanfront condos and older planned communities. HOAs with high complaint records filed with the Virginian Common Interest Community Board. Communities with inadequate reserve funds for maintenance of aging amenities. Associations with restrictions that may limit your enjoyment, like boat parking, home business operations, fence height, style, etc. HOAs experiencing rapid fee increases year over year. That's a red flag. One of my colleagues worked with a family relocating to the area who fell in love with this beautiful waterfront home in Suffolk. When they went under contract, they reviewed the HOA documents and discovered that despite the community having a marina, the wait list was for boat slips was over 15 years long, and they couldn't keep a boat in their driveway longer than 24 hours. Now, for a family whose primary weekend activity was boating, this restriction would have fundamentally changed their lifestyle. In Hampton Roads, certain communities are known for particularly problematic HOAs. So some of the large planned communities in Virginia Beach and Chesapeake, certain waterfront condo associations that are facing expensive structural repairs, historic districts with strict architectural review boards, newer developments with underfunding infrastructure maintenance accounts. So when considering any HOA property, I always recommend reviewing at least 2 years of association meeting minutes for recurring issues, checking the reserve study to ensure adequate funding for future projects, and repairs, because guess what? They're always going to pop up. Reading the covenants and restrictions thoroughly for lifestyle limitations, speaking with current residents about their experience with the board, verifying the financial stability of the association. So if you're considering a home in an HOA, I encourage careful evaluation of how HOA restrictions might impact your desired lifestyle. Take the time to review the association documents carefully before you finalize the sale. Because listen, the most beautiful home can become a source of daily frustration if you're constantly battling unreasonable community restrictions. So let me ask you, have you ever had a crazy experience with an HOA in Hampton Roads? Spill the tea in the comments to help other potential buyers. Now, if you're considering a property within an HOA community, just text me for details on how I can help you evaluate whether a particular community's rules align with your lifestyle. Okay, so the unique challenges of buying property in Hampton Roads require specialized knowledge and careful consideration. From our flood-prone areas to our termite-friendly climate, the 7 issues we discussed today represent the most common pitfalls I've seen buyers encounter in the Hampton Roads market. Now, to recap what to avoid: properties in a flood-prone area without proper elevation, homes with foundation issues related to our soil conditions, houses with hidden water damage and mold, properties with roof problems unsuited to our hurricane exposure, homes with outdated, dangerous electrical systems, houses with termite damage in our high-risk region, and number 7, properties with problematic HOAs that restrict your rights. This isn't meant to discourage you from buying a home in Hampton Roads, friends. Listen, this is my job. So it's quite the opposite. Our region offers extraordinary value, beautiful waterfront living options, and a quality of life that's hard to match anywhere else on the East Coast. My goal is simply to help you make an informed decision so your Hampton Roads homes bring you joy and peace and not headaches. Remember that in real estate, knowledge truly is power. The more you understand about our unique market conditions, the better positioned you'll be to find a property that's going to serve your needs for years to come while appreciate and value. Now, if you want to learn more about how home ownership is more than real estate, it's about creating generational wealth. It's about being a good steward. And most importantly, it's about God's promises. Make sure you check out my new book, Home Ownership God's Way. You can grab it on Amazon or just reach out to me directly. I'll get you a signed copy. Thank you so much for watching today's video, friends. If you found this information valuable, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more insights about Hampton Roads real estate. Now, if you have any questions about any of the issues we discussed, or if you want to know more about a specific neighborhood, just drop a comment below. I'm here to help. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video.